Welcome back to the third episode in my mindfulness series. My name is Candice Sanderson, and we left off last time with the remarkable message from Lyrielle, one of my guides who came to a friend of mine with a message for me. Little did I know that she would guide us through these next episodes in this series. With the last episode, I talked about Lyrielle's message that said that she walks with me. And knowing that she is with me brings me comfort when I get caught up in that day-to-day busyness and that chaos of 3D life. It's so easy to get bogged down. As soon as the thought of being bogged down came to mind, I found myself deep within a vision. Bilocating in a sense because of much of my awareness was recording the event, while another aspect of me was actually in the vision in an out-of-body experience. Then I realized this is how Lyrielle will work with me in this series. She and possibly other messengers will guide me through this series, step by step, giving me short visions to make the point. Quite often, words are not enough for me because I tend to skim through the words and not fully take in their meaning. Just like Lyrielle's message, the fact that she came to me by name through a third party, Vicki Acklin with realityunmasked.com, that made me sit up and listen. All of this is related. It's part of mindfulness, doing what you need to do to pay attention. Instead of ignoring my surroundings or like a message, skimming through it, I can take the time to fully embrace life's situations, not just the important ones, because all of life is important. Years ago, long before I began channeling, I was on vacation and I was sitting on a balcony overlooking a sun that was getting ready to set over the Gulf of Mexico. I was by myself. I was relaxed. I didn't have anything in particular in my mind. I was looking at the beautiful sparkles the setting sun had over the water. It was like a glitter path, and it led straight to me. Now, I knew that it did not really lead to me. It's just my perception, but that did not attract from its beauty. Without any forewarning, I began to cry. I was overwhelmed with the beauty of these sparkles that seemed to be alive. I then received a brief message about everything being in perfect order, the way it was meant to be. This was a time in my life of relative quiet. So I didn't have any kind of serious issues floating about, no significant worries at all. So the message was not addressing any specific concern. And maybe that's what made it so significant. This was an almost overwhelming message of love, compassion, and protection. And how did I receive it? And this was long before I was channeling. I received it by doing nothing. I had nothing on my mind. Still waters, allowing me to perceive the horizon of what lies ahead. Dropping into the present moment, a current moment of time beyond the chaos, allows us to experience more beyond the choppy waters. We move past those waters. It begins to bring us peace. It lets us float on that undercurrent of guidance that moves just below the surface of waters, just below the surface of awareness. I had not thought of this experience in years. So why did it come to me now? With that question, immediately an answer came. It is Lyrielle's way of demonstrating how she will work with me in this series. Take a deep breath. Release that external chaos. That stills the choppy waters. Breathing into the current moment, that's from last week's episode. But it brings you a sense of peace where you are alert enough where you can listen and hear words of advice. So now let me get back to where I was before this scene from years ago came to mind. I was talking about not getting bogged down in day-to-day life. And as soon as I had the thought of being bogged down, that immediately, literally put me in a bog. I experienced an out-of-body state by being in that bog. Yet I was also observing and documenting the events in real time. I walked through a steamy, hot swamp, a bog. It's in the middle of the night, and I feel the sludgy water pull against my clothing. It weighs me down. It slows me from walking. I heard the buzzing of insects as they fly around me in this thick, hot air. Mosquitoes land on me and bite me. Living in Florida close to the Everglades, I keep my eyes open for snakes and those glowing eyes of what might be alligators or maybe even crocodiles. In the last episode, Lyrielle's message said she had been with me in moments of deep stillness when the veil feels so thin that truth flows through like a gentle river. I realized that's exactly where I was when I watched that sunset over the Gulf of Mexico years ago. That moment I just shared when that vivid memory returned. I was in a state of stillness so deep that the message flowed through. But this scene of the swamp in the Everglades, that's how most of us experience life. It's not the serenity of peace and quiet. No wonder we cannot step into silence, into mindfulness. We are in the deep, heavy, dense energy of the 3D. And like walking through a swamp, we are in that fight or flight mode during many of our waking hours, preparing ourselves for encounters with pests or worse, predators. When we are on high alert, we miss the messages, whether it's 5 o'clock traffic, hamster wheel thoughts in our mind, or fighting windmills. We are not in a space to engage stillness, much less embrace it. So, how do we get to those moments of deep stillness so that the truth can flow through like a gentle river that Lyrielle talks about? And notice that Lyrielle says truth flows through, not just the messages or the connections to the non-physical realms. Yes, truth. And that is where true wisdom lies, often beyond our 3D awareness, because it's in those divine realms of the field where everything is connected. As I had those thoughts, a message came through to clarify. Let me read that. It is truth with the capital T, for that is what lies beyond the veil. It is source. It is the great mother. It is the very core of creation that prepared you for this life on your planet. There is a transformation occurring on our side of the veil. As your great planet transcends deeper into her fullness, We bring a different human to aid in her transition. This new human will communicate more easily with the spirit of Gaia, Mother Earth. They are naturally drawn to Source and will access Source without the encumbrances of the veil. So I ask, what about us? What is our purpose? And here's the response. There is a natural thinning of the veil as part of Gaia's transformation to a higher vibrational frequency. As the trend continues, more humans will be aware of the falsity of their 3D lives. They will step outside of fear and slip into silence and stillness. As they do that, they will hear the whispers of guidance through their hearts. Aha. It's like, now I know why I needed to do this series on mindfulness. It's learning to embrace mindfulness so that it will open more people to the guidance that surrounds them. This message made so much sense to me. Humans are awakening from their collective sleep. When they stop fighting their imaginary monsters, they step out of the bog. Only then will they hear our whispers. It is a matter of letting go and finding the natural flow of life. It surrounds you if only you would allow it to enter. The vision returns and I find myself back in the swamp. I see a light ahead. It's faint, but I move in that direction. As I get closer, it becomes brighter, and the first rays of sunrise pierce the darkness. I walk easier. The muddy bottom of the waist-deep water no longer grabs each step I take, and it no longer slows me like it did. And soon I find myself in knee-deep water, and then ankle-deep. And then I step outside of the murky waters and onto soft ground. I continue walking toward that light that gets brighter with each step. My clothes, my hair, my skin begin to dry. I walk up a gently sloping hillside and I sit down. It's now full daylight and I welcome this beautiful soft breeze. I close my eyes and lie back on the dry grass. I have no fear. No gators, no snakes are around. My senses change. As I release fear, I realize I am back in my body, not outside looking for danger. I feel my breath as it enters my nose. I feel my chest rise and fall with each breath that I take. I pause between the breaths, allowing the next breath to be even deeper. Within this stillness, I feel the beat of my heart. It no longer pounds in my chest with fear. I smile with recognition of its purpose to pump life-affirming energy throughout my body, nourishing my cells, my organs. When I close my eyes, I see beautiful purple swirls of hypnagogic images. They're beautiful. They're comforting. I feel the softness of the lush grass beneath me. It's as comfortable as my bed. I smell the welcoming coolness and dampness of the grass. I hear the distant call of morning birds, and it makes me realize I am safe. I am protected. But it's more than that. I feel a connection, a very deep connection to Earth. I feel loved. I am love. The chaos is gone. My energies have withdrawn from what had been my fearful world. And those energies have settled into me, into this physical body. My senses are on high alert, but no longer looking for danger, but of who and where and what I am. One thing I know for certain, I am more than this physical body. With that thought, I feel the light on my body, and my true self rises above. That light that had begun as a tiny beacon now covers me in warmth. But it is not the sun, it is light. Those beautiful, soft frequencies of light, of higher vibrations, of the great dawning of a new world. As my awareness ascends, I realize I am not this body, but this body, this physical form, serves me very well. I need it to traverse the density of the 3D world, and for that I'm very thankful. But I can navigate the 3D differently now. Becoming aware of the greater aspect of me through that deep stillness that Lyrielle mentioned changes me. The greater part of me has connected with the truth beyond the veil, the truth that Lyrielle mentions. Knowing I have touched truth empowers me. I can choose to return to the swamp and stay bogged down in chaos, surrounded by those threatening creatures like alligators and snakes. Or I can look for that beacon of light. It starts off small, a tiny spark, but it will lead me to truth if I allow it to do so, if I release my fears, if I allow truth to enter my awareness. I can release the chaos by deep breathing, by cutting ties to the fear, by bringing my awareness to my body. By using my heart, I can breathe deeply, move heart energy throughout the cells of my body. My messengers have told me that the heart is the portal to the other side, to that field of energy. And now I have an easy tool. Just breathe in and out through my heart space. It raises my vibrations. It removes me from the chaos. It empowers me. That's the first step. Then, with the eyes closed, pay attention to your other senses. What do you feel? What do you hear? What scents do you smell? Even with eyes closed, what do you see? This is the present moment. And within this moment, time changes. It slows. For some, it stops. It gives you pause. Look for the pause and allow it to drape its warmth around you. Let me read the second paragraph from Lyrielle. It's a message for all of us. When we're bogged down into day-to-day life, it offers us a way to pause and refocus. You recently held something, a natural object, perhaps a stone or a feather, that brought you a deep sense of connection. You felt the energy of this object more vividly than expected, as though it was speaking to you in its own way. This was no coincidence. It was a reminder of your innate ability to listen to the subtle frequencies of the natural world. Trust this gift, for it is expanding, allowing you to tune in even more clearly to the whispers of creation. We can use this as an instruction. Look around, find something from nature. It's not just a rock, a feather, or a leaf, but it is something that has energy ties to Gaia, to our great Mother Earth. Breathe into that space as you look at this object with stillness, with admiration. Look at the repeating patterns of the barbs on the feather and how they branch off into even smaller segments, a beautiful repeating pattern. Look at the beauty of patterns all around us in nature. Let it speak to you. Absorb their frequencies. As Lyrielle says, trust this gift, knowing that each moment you spend in sacred silence, you expand your awareness. You slip into the field of energy, the non-physical realms. You tune in to the whispers of creation. This is a good place to stop. This series is quite different from my other 200 plus videos, and I'm really interested to see if the rest will be this way. I think they probably will be, because I found myself slipping into these visions offered by Lyrielle. These are so real. And I am forever thankful to Vicki Acklin from realityunmasked.com for sharing Lyrielle's message with me. Remember the importance of pausing, to take a deep breath, of allowing a connection to nature, to Mother Earth, of acting instead of reacting, of smiling, of being kind. I want to thank you for joining me today. Feel free to subscribe, share, like, and I love the comments. Until next time, goodbye.